You can see me and hear me? Yes? Yes, yes, okay, good. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fairfax Community Church. We're so glad you're here. And I'm so glad Joanne just jumped right in with that beautiful song. Thank you so much. We've got such talent in our midst. And while I'm at it, big thanks to Jim, who got us all set up today, and Gabe, who's in the background, taking care of things. And a big thanks and welcome to Reverend Lisa Robecheck, who's with us today. I think you all probably know that this is not Kimberly's week. She's a 3 services a month pastor, and so she has today off. And Lisa's a good friend of hers. Her bio is both in the bulletin, and I think I sent it out on the email. I'll just say she's a Presbyterian pastor and has had a pretty busy career, including artistic classes, teaching. I don't know too much about that yet, so I'm sure you can tell us about that. And is super qualified to lead this special service. So, here's Dean. Welcome. So I think, I just want to say, we are now in another time of more restricted COVID procedures. So I think we'll be keeping our masks on, except when speaking like this, way away from everyone else. And other than that, I think should mention that we have 2 people who are out today because of COVID. It's suddenly striking our little congregation. Cindy's with us, but still quarantining after her little bout with COVID, and we're glad you're back and feeling well. And Jessie her whole family, unfortunately, is suffering with COVID, so we will actually be praying for her today. Okay, with that, welcome, and welcome, Lisa.
Welcome, everyone. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad. If you have a bulletin, would you join me in the call to worship? As daylight breaks the darkness of night, as the first movements of morning pierce the night's stillness, so a new awakening to life dawns within us. So a fresh beginning of hope in the early light of this day, in the first actions of the morning. Let us be awake to life in our soul and in our seed. Let us be alive to the gift of this new day. Let us be fully alive. So now we'll open our time of prayer. The practice of this congregation is to lift up any prayers that you have and close by saying, God, in your grace, and then we all join in, you hear our prayer. So let us just take a moment of silence, and I will open us up that way. Gracious God, we thank you for being with us always. We thank you for this moment of awareness of your presence. Hear the words of your people, those spoken aloud and those whispered in our hearts. We thank you for being Emmanuel, a God with us always. And now hear our prayers. Anyone have prayer they'd like to lift up?
I ask your prayers for the friends and family of my longtime friend, Michael Farrell, who died on January 1st. It was a relief. It was time for him. Cancer was too hard on his body. So prayers for Michael, family, friends. Prayers also for Jesse, the family, all those who suffer from COVID. families, caretaking, take the whole. So, in your grace,
You hear our prayers.
God, please hear our prayers. I'd like to give a prayer for our friend Patricia, who will be having surgery tomorrow morning and is going to be facing not a complicated but a long recovery. And just to be with her, she's fully infused with your grace, God, and just keep her under your sight and be with her through this convalescence. Also, just a prayer for everyone right now, every one of us who are faced with this ever-changing pandemic. The uncertainty is bringing fear and mistrust, and people's acting on their own feelings rather than bringing these to you. May we all bring all of these fears and problems that we're facing to you, and with the knowledge that you will hear them for us. God, in your grace.
Thank you for the gift of community wherever we are able to enjoy. This morning, I want to pray particularly for my clients and for all those who come into this pandemic with already issues of isolation, abandonment, and who find this a particularly debilitating experience. Be so isolated, that they may discover within themselves their own inner strength and their connection to a divine presence that is always there, holding them, embracing them, and that they are never alone. And for that matter, for all of us who need to deepen our awareness that we are fully settled. The sense that we are alone is not true. That we just tune into more fully and more deeply. We are one together. That we are best. In many names, Lord,
Lord, we hear your prayer. Lord, Mother, Father, I'd like to say a prayer for Jim's mom. She passed away about 20 years ago, but her birthday was April. The day after Christmas was her birthday. I'll offer her up to you, and know she's at your side. And for my sister, who's also at your side. And for my husband, dealing with back pain, a pinched nerve, and just New Year's Eve. For us, we couldn't go to our restaurant we had planned, but we sat together on the couch and watched TV. And that was our New Year's. And I was very grateful for it because Jim had a little less pain at that time. And whatever it takes for, we want to work with you. And for all the people traveling. And the reason I didn't go to my friend Patricia's is because of the insanity of the flying right now. And so I'm content and surrendered being with my own thought. God, you're great.
Very brief prayer that I know covers it all. God of love and of new beginnings, may this start of a new year bring us an easier, more loving, kinder world to live in, with a little less that we have to deal with. May the challenges be lessened and we will be able to meet them with grace. God, your grace.
Hear our prayers.
Are there folks online that would like to lift up prayer? Yes, Casey.
Yeah, I have prayers of great gratitude today for Gabe surviving a 17-hour drive to Tahoe ski trip and coming back, and ask for blessings for his 7-hour trip today back down south to college, where we know there's lots of COVID. So prayers for protection, for his health, and also my brother's family who has COVID in Virginia, and gratitude for Cindy doing so well and healing so well. Oh, just prayers that we are seeing the end game of this virus. I hold that vision. God, in your grace, you hear.
Others online?
Get the unmute.
Well, those that have the bulletin, let's lift up the prayer of Jesus. Ground of all being, Mother of life, Father of the universe, may we know your presence here, seeking your will on earth. Grant all your creatures food for today, and strength for all beings. Pardon our falseness, as we forgive those who are untrue to us. Do not forsake us in our need, but lead us to new birth, for the glory of life, the light of life, are yours forever. Amen. So I believe Joanne has offered to sing the Shema, is that right? Yeah. Shema Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I'm going to read the Gospel of John. It's printed in the bulletin.
From book 1 of John, verses 1 to 5 and verse 14. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in all the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his radiance, full of grace and truth.
Thank you. How about our second sacred text, the Advent poem from More Life Presbytery?
Advent poem from More Light Presbyterians. Take a quiet moment during this busy season. Light a candle. Say a prayer. See beauty. We are on a spiritual journey. Remember the sacred underlying the mundane in this season of lights. Something holy is about to be born in us. In the dark lay possibilities. The seed in the ground. The seed in the womb. The seed in our souls. The deepest desires of our heart and soul lead us toward God, toward ourselves, toward the world. A way is being prepared in the wilderness of our lives. Vision, strength, encouragement. Hope starts small and overtakes us, stretching the borders of what we have known.
Here.
Hear the words from the Gospel of John one more time. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Word was God. All things came into being through him, and without him, not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. The Word of God. Every time I read these words, I feel I should sit in silence and just let them reverberate in my heart and mind. I think these may be my most favorite verses in all of Scripture, and anything that follows pales in comparison. But a preacher preaches, and so I will ignore my inclination for just a few moments. John's gospel opens with lofty, abstract concepts: light, glory, grace, truth. The poetic nature of his introduction accentuates the loftiness of these ideals. These are big, lovely ideas. And thankfully, he grounds them in the Word. who was with God, who was God. In other words, Jesus Christ. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, full of grace and truth. In Jesus, we come to know this unknowable God, in whom we live and move and have our being. It is in the incarnation of Jesus that we experience God, even as he surprisingly comes to us in a vulnerable human baby. My favorite Christmas book is The Littlest Angel by Charles Tazewell. I don't know if any of you know it. I brought my copy to show you how old it is. There's a little bit of earmarked, that dog, chewed. It's got tape in the binding. And then right here, I don't know if anybody can see it close enough, but it's got my penmanship at about the age of, 8 or something like that, claiming the book as my own, and I have kept it all these years. But if you're not familiar with it, this is a story about a young angel snatched from life and ushered to the pearly gates far too young. As you might expect of a 4-year-old boy, he wreaks havoc in heaven, being terribly unhappy away from his earthly family and activities. After pages describing his heart-wrenching attempts to adjust to heaven, an understanding angel helps provide what will calm the littlest angel's soul. It's a rough, unsightly wooden box that the littlest angel left under his bed at home. And what's in it? Well, there was a butterfly with golden wings, captured one bright summer day in the hills of Jerusalem. A sky blue egg from a bird's nest in the olive tree that stood to shade his mother's kitchen door. And 2 white stones found on a muddy riverbank where he and his friends had played like little brown beavers. And at the bottom of the box, a limp, tooth-marked leather strap once worn as a collar by his mongrel dog, who died as he lived in absolute love and infinite devotion. Possession of this box finally brings the littlest angel peace. And with no angst left in his soul, the book almost becomes mundane until we learn that Jesus is to be born on earth. All the angels in heaven prepare bright, sparkling, magnificent gifts for the Christ child. The littlest angel, unable to think of anything more special, gifts baby Jesus with his unflashy wooden box. Setting it amongst all the glimmering gifts from all the angels, he immediately becomes embarrassed and seeks to remove it from the mountain of shimmering boxes. But he's too late, and with tears of anguish streaming down his little face, he hears God say, "Of all the gifts, of all the angels, I find that this small box pleases me most. Its contents are of the earth and of people, and my son is born to be king of them both. These are the things my son too will know and love and cherish, and then regretful will leave behind when his time on earth is done. I accept this gift in the name of the child Jesus, born of Mary in Bethlehem." At this, the littlest angel's wooden box began to glow with a radiant brilliance, rose up into the sky, and became the shining star of Bethlehem, with its beckoning light over the stable where Jesus was born. On this second day of 2022, I invite us all into a little time of reflection. We have on a table back there, circular, sorry about that, circular pieces of cardboard. We also have magazines and glue sticks and scissors, and I think Joanne might even put out some pens. For those of you at home that didn't get any preparation for this, you can probably find these things without too much trouble, and if you can't, you can do it later. There's nothing special about this other than that they're lovely, but you could use a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, a piece of wood. There's actually candles back there, those round glass candles that you could even use. So be creative. But in a second, I'll invite you all to get supplies, and then we'll spend about 10 minutes quietly working. And the invitation is just to flip through a magazine or two and just pull out images or words that strike you. You don't have to know why they strike you. That doesn't matter so much. Maybe it's the Spirit speaking to you in some way, offering some small gift, some small bit of awareness. After we've been working for about 5 minutes, I'll let you know that we're kind of halfway through our time. And you might choose to start to place those images and words on your circle. Many of you may prefer to have more time than 10 minutes. And so there's no expectation that you have anything finished when we're done here. And in fact, I invite you to take it home with you and continue to work on it this week, or maybe even on and off in the month of January. But ultimately, I invite you to look for what you might be encouraged to bring to life in this new year, based on whatever drew you in this moment of quiet reflection. Because I want to remind you that you too, each one of you, are words made flesh. Each one of you have lofty concepts in you: love, compassion, justice, truth. And you grace everyone who knows you with an incarnated, full of life experience of these otherwise unknowable virtues. And God rejoices in witnessing the person you are, God's child. God rejoices in seeing how you have lived into your unique self, and will continue to do so in 2022. Thanks be to God. Amen. So I invite you, as you're inclined, to go and get some supplies, and I'll let you know when we're halfway through our quiet time. Just today.
jasmine breeze, like incense in my head. Moon high in a cold black sky illuminates my bed. The train outside my windows, keeping vespers in the night, singing praises for the world. But life can make you bitter. This life can turn you cold. It seems I spend most of my own just trying to crack the code. But if I die tomorrow, may the last words that I know be praises for the world. Well, some predict the rapture, where we all will leave this place. The chosen ones will pack their bags for somewhere out in space. But the holiest words I've ever read or thought of
I'm going to invite you to start to wrap up for now, or we can keep looking actually while we worship, to be honest. Stop. I think it's the tradition of this congregation to have some time to reflect on what's been said, and so I would just invite anybody to share anything. Probably more interesting than that might be how this project has gone for you. If anyone wants to share their board, you can, but there's no pressure whatsoever. So does anybody have anything that they'd like to share about how this has been? Somebody online want to do that? Maybe invite folks not present here personally with us right now. We have our.
Yes, I like to share
Thanks, Manoush.
my art expression times. Thank you for giving this opportunity of creating, envisioning what our heart is calling forth. I did not write or draw or anything like that. I really sat with an open mind and an open heart to be shown how to get in alignment my new living situation that has to come into manifest within 3 months or so, with my highest purpose and my human desires at the same time. So I really sat there, and it's interesting to notice that I had informations that made it more possible for me to think out of the box. So that's the first step into visualizing and manifesting what's a priority in my life right now, a new living situation, so I can stay in this county, in this country even, and be with you guys. So thank you for that time of reflection in visualizing and creating already from the spiritual world into the manifest what's possible. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Manoush. I appreciate you expanding how that project can show up.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
But anybody else?
Here's the microphone.
Well, I didn't get to be part of it, I have a lot of pictures.
That's all good.
But I got some that I think are really helpful, and honestly, I do want to take more time with this.
Yeah.
I told some of you that my project around New Year's is to go through all of our Oasis poems and my responses to those, and see what kind of themes emerge and what really might suit me, or might call me to focus on in the new year. And I'm going to try to very consciously put together my vision board to reflect that and use it to inspire me and keep me on track. And I'm saying all of this because I figure if I say it out loud in front of people, I'm more likely to go through with it.
Great.
And I also wanted to just reflect a little bit on your reflection, Lisa, which I enjoyed in all its brevity.
Exactly.
But that's good. I think that's a Presbyterian thing, isn't it?
It is, plus I wanted to give you as much time as possible, because 10 minutes is really not enough time for this project. But yes, it was brief.
Anyway, I just had an odd kind of insight, and it's pretty obvious that when you were talking about the little angel at the end, that Jesus perhaps had the same kinds of thoughts that we do, that, you know, that there were things about this earthly life and his home and his childhood that were very meaningful and precious to him. And I mean, it's such a human thing, you know, we all have our, whether it's tangible or not, we have that box of things that we really treasure. And I don't know, it just humanized him for me. And it was a lovely little story, so thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it's just one of my favorites. I'm surprised I got through it without shedding tears, because it always is so touching to me.
I think I had a little too.
Yeah, I had a couple tears come down. It reminded me also of my own little box that I had for years of things that I made when I was a child. I let most of them go now, but I don't want to nag it so much, but I really enjoyed having it for a long time.
Yeah.
And we carry our childhood with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, say that again.
I say we carry our childhood with us.
Absolutely.
Through life. That was one of the blessings, my friend who just died. He had so much gratitude for life. It was very beautiful. A bountiful person. He did time in prison. And after he came out, he changed his life completely. And he used to, for probably close to 2 decades, took 12-step meetings in the prison. And just to help anyone who might be open. And there were people there that were open. I went in a few times with them. And they were open, very grateful for people helping. And then that brings me to this. It's not quite directly from that, but it's more in essence of myself. I really took it as a challenge. 10 minutes.
I know.
I am not an artist. So
That's okay.
you gave me great direction to be able to do this by cutting out pictures and pasting.
Good.
I really appreciate that. And it's just beautiful pictures of the outdoors. One of these being a place that I kind of treasure, being up in the hills in Arizona. I'm pretty sure this is Arizona. There's one saguaro cactus in the little picture. But it's a lush, bountiful valley of flowers that you can sometimes get in the desert. And an amazing lushness. If there's been a good fall season of rains, this spring just blooms forth. And so I wrote on it, be kind. That's a reminder to myself. And the other thing I wrote was go outside to go inside.
Ooh. Ooh. Thank you.
Oh boy, this is interesting. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the sacred text, the Advent poem. That really kind of resonated with me in a number of ways. But the line towards the mountains. A way is being prepared in the wilderness of our lives. And we often think that we're all so in such control, and that we're out here, doing everything, doing it right, and to the point where we start telling other people how to do it right. And I'm quite capable of that, trust me. And I just don't understand why they don't think it's so right, but that's another issue. But at the end, it starts small and overtakes us. And there's something about that, because if hope didn't start small to overtake us, we would continually run from it, I think. But something big coming after us, overtaking us, tends to make us run. Or stop and lash out, one of the two. Whereas it's stretching the borders of what we have known. And I've done a lot of crazy work in my lifetime on things. And one of the things where it says stretching the borders of what we have known, and that this person's, and his tagline was, we know what we don't know, but we don't know what we don't know. And that has always been something that I kind of try to go back to in life when I'm scared, when I don't understand what's going on. When I thought I knew it all, only to find it just crash down around me. So anyway, this poem has a lot of other things in it that's good. And Joanne and I did the exercise together, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, we're never going to get it. But anyway, we got all kinds of things on ours. We went to a couple magazines, and my line took a different direction than her line. But once it's all interwoven, it makes for an interesting thing. And I started with the picture, and it says a journey through a rainforest, outer space, and the deep sea, all in one day. And I'm not sure what they were selling. I didn't buy one, but I certainly liked their picture. So I had the words somewhere in the middle, and Joanne added one life, and art in unexpected places. Back to this unexpectedness. And she had tenderness, light, easy grace, resetting, and wellness changes everything. And we added at the bottom here, below the rainforest was on the road, and next to the rainforest was a picture of a salad, and it says rounding salad. Which if you're gonna go on the road, you better take a rounding salad, I guess. And then there's a picture of a couple of people sitting by themselves under an umbrella on the beach with the words listening to whales underneath. So, and health and creating a healing place. And I think that where we were looking for here, without even talking about what the goal was that all of these things do take us to places we haven't been, places that we often don't expect to go. We connect with things that sometimes we spend a lot of time and money and effort trying to connect with these things. Only to find out that you stumble across them at the least expected time. And just like the lowest angel, if we do whatever we have and turn it over to God, he will make it whole.
Thank you so much. I love that you did that together. That's just another way, like Manu sharing that she just did the visualizing in her heart and soul. The two of you doing that together is really lovely too. You could do that with a team of people or with your family or yeah. Thank you.
I too love the story about the Lulu's angel. It's touching. It reminds me in some ways of the Velveteen Rabbit.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is I enjoyed doing this. I haven't done collage in a long time. What I love about it is it's fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to come up with something from the side of me, I can cut something out and there it is. And this, I don't know if you can see this, it's a young woman with a microphone and she's holding it up like this. And it just struck me that this represents my hope for the younger generation. And just, that it's their time and they're ready for it. So, and that picture and this is of a dancer with her arms out. And then the words calm, energized, and happy.
Can I have those words, please?
I didn't find them and I need them.
Yeah, it's kind of what I pray every morning. It is for people to be safe and strong, for people to, anyway. And then this is a picture of some trees, and they had an article on what they call forest bathing. And I just love that phrase, be in the forest and bathe and just take it all in. And it reminds me of how grateful I am that my office in San Selma, where I rarely am these days, but that my windows look out on redwood trees. And that's such a gift. And my clients love the fact that they can look out and see that. And then just another phrase was give a gift. Just that concept of give gifts and what that means to me. So
Thank you,
that's,
Thank you so much, Ruth.
yeah.
So does anyone else have a burning desire to share? Yeah, Casey.
Yeah, thanks. I love hearing all of what you're sharing. And I'll say what I was just transported by the music. And I realized that that's Jennifer Bearson singing praises for the world in this huge oops, excuse me a second. In 2003 at the Scottish Rite Theatre in Oakland, I was there when they were recording this. So maybe you heard me in there. And, it was this really long ecstatic chant with these poets and singers and musicians woven in and out. And it was perfect for this calling in exercise, because when I think about humanity, sometimes lately I think about red hats and division and intolerance, and this just brought me right back to this very hopeful sense of, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us swaying and singing together praises for the world. And then I had this feeling that we're doing that too, that those of us assembled this morning in the sanctuary and via Zoom are all just in that kind of being grateful and seeing the possibility, feeling the hope, and really focusing our intentions in that direction of love and harmony and praise. And so it was ecstatic for me in that way, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure on the time, but being Presbyterian, I think unless somebody else would like to say anything, which you're welcome to, but if not, I want to just close by saying that I really hope that you did enjoy it, and that you can continue to enjoy it, and that you can realize you don't have to be an artist to do something creative. And one other thing I might just put out there is Spirit speaks to us through the fact that Ruth picked up the magazine that had those words and Lynn didn't, like, not to say that you can't have those words, right? You absolutely can, but the thing that's that's beautiful about, one of the things that's beautiful about this is that it sort of takes you out of your head, you know, and especially if you're not artistically or creatively inclined, it gives you an opportunity to just not go looking for those words, right? They show up, or you hear that they've shown up, and then, you know, whatever. But so I just think that that's lovely. And I want to, before we close with prayer, I want to just read another version of the text we worked with today, because sometimes I find that that opens up additional understanding. And you all may be familiar with this. This is The Message by Eugene Peterson. Yeah. An amazing, just recently in the last couple of years, passed away professor, a theology professor, who did an interpretation of the Bible. So this is the same chapter, first chapter of John, verses 1 through 5 and 14. He says, "The Word was first, the Word present to God, God present to the Word. The Word was God, in readiness for God from day one. Everything was created through him. Nothing, not one thing came into being without him. What came into existence was light, and the light was light to live by. The light blazed out of the darkness, and the darkness couldn't put it out. The Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. We saw the glory with our own eyes, the one of a kind glory, like Father, like Son. Generous inside and out, true from start to finish." Amen. Always interesting. So this is when worship actually starts, in a way, because we go out into the world and we share our light with a world that really needs to see it right now, right? And so I just hope that this has been uplifting, and I just wish deep prayers that 2022 is a good year, that we find goodness in it and offer goodness to others, and feel the community that we have, even in small groups and in the ways that we can find it in these very odd days. And I would just invite you all, if you have your bulletin, to join me in the closing blessing. In the great lights of the night sky and its unbounded stretches of space, we glimpse the shinings of your presence, O God. In the universe of our soul and its boundless depths, we look for emanations of your light. In the silence of sleep and the dreams of the night, we watch for jewels of infinity. Guide us to awaken to the light within us today as we carry your love into the world. So let us stand and close in our circle. We're inviting all of you online into the circle as well. Big loose circle. Loose. Who would like Joanne? You're going to start us, right? Are we singing? Hallelujah. 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 May we all go now, knowing that the love of God, the great friendship and gift of Jesus, and the sweet indwelling Spirit goes with us this day and always. Amen. Amen. Thank you for being with us, everyone.